What's up, world? It's your boy Drew Marcy here for How to Rap, and in this video we're going to explain how to improve your rap voice in 3 simple steps. If you have a monotone rap voice or a rap voice that tends to be a little high-pitched, if you find that your rap voice, the minute it comes on the track, tends to take fans out of the music, or if you're a little bit more experienced and want to just learn a little bit more about the technical aspects of rap voice, this is the video for you. As someone who's been rapping for over 15 years and personally training amateur rappers to become professional rap artists for the last half-decade, we have made this YouTube channel for you if you want to become world-class in rap, so be sure to subscribe with notifications. And because you need more than just a great voice to be a rapper, but also great music, be sure to check out our free songwriting video course, The Top 20 Songwriting Secrets of Full-Time Rappers, by visiting the first link in the video description box below. Alright, so let's get into it. The first thing you need to do is know the main components of a great rap voice so that you know what to identify when you're trying to improve or something that you're lacking in to become a better vocalist in your hip-hop vocals. I've created an easy to remember acronym for this I call EET, and EET stands for energy, emphasis, and tone. All of the components in total in EET are what comprise what people often call rap delivery, or casual fans just call a great rap voice. So let's break down what each of these means and what to focus on so that you know how to improve your rap voice quickly. When someone first decides to become a rapper and starts practicing what they've written out loud, the first thing as a coach I usually need to do is simply tell them to rap louder. You need to get more vocal energy. Vocal energy refers to the actual volume of your voice when rapping. 90% of beginning rappers are simply too quiet when they start practicing rapping out loud, and it comes off as insecure and amateurish. Now, when you get a little bit more experienced and know how to properly project your voice in a loud, energetic way, you can learn how to have a chill and more laid-back delivery while still maintaining that confidence, just like artists such as Nas, Snoop Dogg, or even Drake are able to do. But as a beginning artist, I would suggest your first priority to master rap voice is to learn to project your voice loudly so that you know how to dominate a beat when you hear it. Let me give you a quick exercise to help you practice mastering your vocal energy if that's an issue for you. The first thing I would suggest when you're practicing your vocal energy is visualize how far in front of you your voice is actually traveling. If you're a beginner and just learning this stuff, I would bet that your voice is only traveling like 1 or 2 feet in front of you. That's not good. What I want you to do is imagine that there's a red line on the floor, right? A line across the floor, and I want you to imagine that line is more like 5, 6, 7 feet in front of you, and then imagine that you're attempting to get your voice to project all the way to that red line. Another way to think about this is imagine that you're trying to yell at somebody in your house in another part of the house, like through the door. While this may sound over the top or you feel like you're just yelling, we're going to teach you in a few minutes in this video how to add dynamics and valleys and peaks, as I call it, in order to have it sound nice and crisp. But for right now, we're just trying to focus on you getting loud enough and giving enough energy. Even better than the red line suggestion, if you can get an actual friend or supportive family member to stand 6, 7 feet away from you, and they'll tell you if you're really reaching that distance of 5, 6, 7 feet. The most important thing to understand in this section is that your current impression of how loud you are is not necessarily the actual fact of how loud you are. Much like when you're first starting to record yourself and when you're rapping into the mic, you think you sound good, and then you re-listen to it and you think your voice is cringe. You also initially, as a beginning artist, are thinking you're sounding loud enough, but you need some outside reference, especially another person or even just this exercise, to know how you actually sound. Just like when you go to a basketball court and it's been a long time since you played and you shoot the ball thinking you've shot far enough and then it just airballs short and you realize you got to readjust in order to get that distance and push farther. Now let's talk about how to improve your rap voice emphasis. Vocal emphasis is related to which words you put inflection on, which words you stretch out, which words you shorten, and all things related to how you enunciate your words. For all you artists watching this who feel like your voice is too monotone or boring, this is going to be the main part you want to focus on, so listen up. The best hack for actually improving the vocal emphasis that you're bringing, the level of inflection, is to actually change the way you write your raps. Most beginning rappers, when they write out their lyrics, they just write it in normal punctuation, normal capitalization, write it just like they'd be writing a text or an email, which makes it easier to read, but it also makes you think that you're supposed to read it like you read a book in class with no particular emphasis or just getting through what you're reading out loud. What I would suggest is literally changing the way you format what's written on the page to remind yourself to add inflection and emphasis to certain words. One way to do it is to use capitals in your raps on words that you want to emphasize to give more power to. Another way is to use italics to remind yourself to say certain words smoothly. My last and most favorite way to do it is intentionally misspell words to remind you to either stretch them or shorten them. So for example, I'm sure we've all heard the legend R.I.P. Tupac use the rhyme Hennessy and enemies. But when Pac does that, he doesn't just say Hennessy or enemies. He usually stretches out the word and says something like, Hennessy with my enemies. In that case, if I was writing a rap and wanted to use that rhyme to impersonate Pac, I would literally write 5 or 6 S's for the word Hennessy and a bunch of I's for the word enemies to remind myself to drag them out. Now, there's no hard and fast rule for the way you're supposed to format it, but just find for yourself a way to change them, whether that's underlines, bolds, italics, capitals, that's comfortable for you to remind yourself to add inflection to each of your bars. And last, let's talk a little bit about how to improve your rap voice tone. Vocal tone refers to the sound quality or the timbre of your voice. This is the only one of the EET naming system that somewhat has to do with how your body is made. In other words, if you have a particularly high-pitched voice or people consider your voice higher than normal, you're not really gonna consistently sound like DMX. I'm sorry, homie, but don't let that discourage you. I think most people would say Eminem has a higher pitched rap voice. However, he has many songs like The Way I Am or even Stan where he has a deeper voice. It is something you can practice and get better at. The best way is to practice focusing on what part of your face, your vocal apparatus, your throat, pause, you want to be aiming from when you're rapping. Now, I've done a more in-depth article on this particular point called The 3 Ways to Instantly Improve Your Rap Voice, which you can find by visiting the video description box below. But the main trick you want to use to get a more varied vocal tone is to concentrate on how certain voices feel in your throat, pause, when you are recording. So when I'm experimenting with a new voice or trying to find the best voice for a particular track, I'll do 3 or 4 different takes of the same rap that I've written to that beat with a raspy voice or like a deeper tone or like a higher pitch. And while I'm delivering those, I'm identifying where in my face, like where in the whole head section, I'm feeling the most power and where I'm feeling it the most, so I know how to replicate that. On the next track, I'll try to replicate those tones and see if it fits that track, but I'm continuously trying to put the vocal tone software in my mind by identifying where physically I'm placing my voice. And after I've done this for a few songs, I have muscle memory, much like I remember how to shoot a basketball, but it relates to the place in my face where the voice is being produced, and now I can access it at any time. So if you continuously practice the main components we discussed of EET and experiment with the secrets we provided, you should be discovering new voices for yourself in no time. Now, I want to see you in the comments. I'm well known on this channel for pretty much hearting every comment, responding to every comment, so I want to see you in there, and I'm wondering which of the 3 components, EET, energy, emphasis, or tone, do you need to work on first? Which one do you think you're most lacking in? And let's get a discussion going. And of course, be sure to pick up your free course after that comment, the top 20 songwriting secrets of full-time rappers. You can take this seriously and become a world-class artist. With that being said, I appreciate you watching. I'll see you on the next one. It's the big homie Drew. I'm out.